Está bien, porque si te quieres todo siempre lo hacemos. No sé por qué hay esa.
Está haciendo. Sí. Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes.
Vale.
Muy bien.
Sí, en principio sale por aquí.
Pero no lo vamos a oír la respuesta suya, ¿o sí?
No, a ver.
Ah, sí, ok.
Sí,
Lo he oído, yes.
pero creo que se lo he
Yo he oído
¿Ah, sí?
por ahí.
¿Ah, sí?
Yeah.
Yo he oído yes.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Ah, es que es verdad que lo oye usted, digo. No está...
Para el programa.
Sí. ¿Está mal?
Ahora lo he puesto a la
Sí. Okay. Can you say it again, please?
Can you hear me okay?
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, then we will start. So, yeah, I will, well, thank you all for coming, the ones online and here in person. And first, we will have our welcome, institutional welcome from José Antonio Garrido. And then Jack will speak from my Green Lab, will explain the program and the global impacts. And then I will share the study case from here. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So first, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this event of the Sustainable Nano Network. As you know, this event is held under the frame of the Spanish Network on Safe and Sustainable Nanotechnologies. And this is an event that brings experts, colleagues who are interested in sharing best practice in how we can have a more sustainable lab management. Yeah, so this is the main idea of this event. We're going to hear from sustainable officers of ICN2. We're also going to hear from representatives from my green labs. And the idea is like we all think that we need to foster environmental responsibility and the way we do research, not only the type of research that we do, but also how we do it. Yeah. ICN2 is committed to sustainability. You remember, perhaps not everyone, but you remember that the current title of the Severo Ochoa, it's a nano solutions for a sustainable society. It is true that there what we are exploring is like a solutions, nano solutions that are sustainable in let's say in the area of energy, in the energy of medicine. But it's not only about the way we do research, it's how we do the research. And that's why I think that pursuing my Green Lab certification has driven us in a different direction, which is to optimize the way we use resources, to implement waste reduction strategies at the institution, and finally, to engage the community. maybe not the whole community, but in general, I think that at the different group levels, we managed to ensure that everyone was aware of what was going on in the labs, right? So I think that we all share that scientific excellence and sustainability and environmental responsibility, they go hand in hand. They cannot be separated. And we also would like to set our experience as an institute like an example that could also inspire other research institutions. Yeah. So a couple of words about this network, because it's the frame where we are working together. So this is a network that unites 13 Spanish institutions, and is coordinated by the ICN2. And the goal is to promote a safe and sustainable nanotechnologies. Yeah. So there are a variety of activities from research. This is what we do. We do research and how we integrate sustainability at all the different levels of research, but also training and equipping our scientists with tools, right, that they can finally run a greener lab. Yeah, and this is what, for instance, my green lab, it's also helping us in that direction. Outreach is part of that effort as well. This is an event in that direction where we communicate with policymakers, with industry, with colleagues, to make sure that what we do has certain impact. And finally, sharing knowledge across the different partners. There are, as I said, there are 13 partners, and we share knowledge and best practices, and that's also part of this network. So I'm not going to take any longer. I thank you again for coming here. I really encourage you to engage and participate with the colleagues who are here today, and see how we can use best practice to transform the way we do science in our labs. I think that we all share, I believe that we all share that we can together drive nanotechnology towards a more sustainable future. So I hope that you have a good time. And I think that we start now with the first presentation by Jack O'Grady's, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, Jack, go ahead.
Yep. 2 seconds now. Share. So just please let me know when you can see my slides. Perfect. Okay to proceed, Marta?
Yes.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. So to everyone in the room, while I can't see you, it is very much my pleasure to meet you all this afternoon. I do apologize, no hablo español. My español is not good. So please, for Marta and for the other speakers later today, if you do wish to speak in Spanish, please don't speak in English just on my behalf. I'm okay to not understand. It's okay. Please, whatever is more comfortable for you. But it is very much a pleasure to meet you all this afternoon. And for my own self, my name is Jack O'Grady. I'm a director of the certification program here at Impact Laboratories on behalf of My Green Lab. So I will explain. Oh, thanks, Marta. I can see everyone. Hopefully everyone can see me okay. So the purpose of today is, as alluded to from José's introduction, it's a means of education. It's a means of networking with like-minded people and having an understanding and an appreciation for what is possible and getting the conversation started about more sustainable research, more sustainable scientific operations, and more sustainable laboratory spaces as well. So there will be time at the end of the hour for any questions. So I will be on for the full hour. So I'm happy to answer any questions at the end of this presentation. So I think My Green Lab is pretty well understood by all of you with respect to ICN2's uptake across their teams with the certification program. But just a bit of context here. So My Green Lab is a fully remote international non-for-profit organization. For my own self, as you can tell from my name, my accent, I'm from Ireland. I've been told I look Spanish, and I actually did get married in Malaga 3 months ago, down south. So I love Spain. I will be coming back to Spain many times over. But for my own self, we're fully remote, and as a business, we have team members across Ireland, the UK, Germany, Italy, the United States, and Canada. We were founded back in 2013 as a non-for-profit. As a non-for-profit, we have a mission that we intend to achieve as part of our work and as part of our programs. And the mission we have is to build a global culture of sustainability and science to transform the industry into a global leader on environmental sustainability best practices. Microlab is a non-for-profit. We have a subsidiary branch off of Microlab called Impact Laboratories. And this is where I am housed with my team. And essentially, we are the third-party verifiers of the certification program on behalf of Microlab. So essentially, this is feedback we received from ISO and ASI and other accredited bodies globally that the standard developers of Microlab cannot also be the providers of that service. So to allow for true third-party verification, we provide the program on behalf of Microlab and provide the feedback as well as providing the results. So similar to ISO audits, if you are ISO accredited, it is not necessarily auditors from ISO coming on site to do the audit. It could be someone on behalf of ISO. So a very, very similar concept. These are slides and indeed statistics that you most likely have seen from either presentations perhaps that I was on, or indeed my other team members or other networks as well. For laboratories, and the reason as to why ICN2, through Marta and her colleagues and team members, pursued the Microlab certification program is that laboratories that we've noted are generally some of the most resource-intensive buildings and spaces of any kind for any facility. The typical laboratory, on average, can use up to 10 times more energy than a typical office space, 4 times more water. At the point of time, these statistics being derived from a study out of the University of Exeter, 5.5 million metric tons of plastic waste was being discarded into the environment each year, coming from work and research across biotech pharma, academia, NGOs, as well as global healthcare operations for laboratories as well. These are just estimates, but they are the most up-to-date kind of recent estimates that we have. We do believe actually in relation to plastic waste generation, that this is a much higher statistic due to vaccine development and research in light of COVID from a couple of years ago. If we look at the biotech pharmaceutical sector specifically, the biotech pharmaceutical sector does have globally a pretty massive carbon footprint with respect to nearly 400 million metric tons of CO2 equivalent emissions annually being output, which is equivalent to a little over 1,000 natural gas-fired power plants in continuous use for 1 year. Those statistics are present on a report that we published a couple of years ago, of which I'm happy to forward to Marta to provide to all of you as well. If you'd like to read it, that is no problem. So given the basis of laboratories being incredibly resource intensive, energy intensive, and wasteful, this led to the development of a suite of programs through the Microlab certification program, the ACT Eco-label, and a variety of other options as well. So between the Microlab certification program, which I'm going to discuss over the next couple of minutes, and the ACT Eco-label, they are our two flagship programs here at Microlab and Impact Laboratories. We also have free programs that anyone who wishes to avail of can do so with us. We have the International Laboratory Freezer Challenge and the Microlab Ambassador Network. So similar to the network for nanoscience and nanotechnology, the Microlab Ambassador Network is a free program that you can converse and network and meet with like-minded people of over 9,000 people that are part of that Ambassador Network channel. So that is a free program, as well as the International Freezer Challenge. And we also have a variety of different courses and modules that you can learn with us on our website for a very small fee to build up your expertise and knowledge of sustainability further with respect to laboratory sustainability. So while the Microlab certification program is something that was pursued by ICN2 on campus, there are a variety of options, some free, that we could discuss and tease out if you so wish as well. So given that laboratories are incredibly resource intensive and energy intensive, the solution, namely from our two flagship programs, are the Microlab certification program and the ACT Eco-label. Now, while I don't have a slide or don't have slides on the ACT Eco-label present for the purpose of this 15-minute presentation, I'm happy to provide more information and discuss if anyone has any questions on that. That is no problem. When it comes to the certification program, what it entails and what it did entail for ICN2's labs and teams was an online assessment. The core of this program is surrounding education, knowledge, community engagement, and an appreciation for sustainability in the lab. So this online assessment was provided to all lab members and team members present that it was applicable for at ICN2. There were approximately, give or take, if every category is applicable for ICN2, which some were not, so that is perfectly fine. There was approximately 150 questions in total across the 14 categories. The focus, as I said, is very much upon behavioral components and changing the mindset of giving you insights, innovative ideas, and concepts and resources about what you could incorporate into your laboratory best practices to become more sustainable. A lot of the considerations, and perhaps Marta can speak to this later, a lot of the considerations are very much behavioral focused, education focused, because at the core of this program is to build a culture of sustainability across your team and across other departments within the campus as well. There are very much going to be areas that are perhaps very difficult to improve within, with respect to perhaps supply chain, so procurement or energy load, infrastructural energy considerations. And this program is very flexible. We do not mandate from us to you that you have to incorporate certain actions. It's up for you to decide where and what you want to focus upon and how long you want to spend time incorporating these actions and these considerations with our resources as well. Oops, sorry. So in terms of the PAT certification, once what has been notified or as part of the process, ICN2 are presently certified for the laboratories and teams that went through the process. That certification is going to be valid for 2 years before we ask ICN2 and the teams at ICN2 to come back for reevaluation and reconsideration with our standard. We have, in the meanwhile, been revising our standard. So for the recertification attempt within the next 2 years or at the 2-year deadline for the teams at ICN2 on campus, the program is going to have new components, new resources, and new considerations. From our perspective, we periodically review the standard and the components of our program to ensure that it is up to date with best practices, up to date with the best content and resources, and that you are abiding by best practices on a global scale as well. The certification levels that can be achieved with respect to the certification program are that of bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and green. So Marta's going to speak to this, I believe, in the next part of the slide deck, so I will not linger on this much further, other than these are the certification levels that can be achieved. With respect to the level of this uptake and the necessity for this work, you are a part of a wider global commitment and a part of a wider global movement with respect to this certification program. This certification program, and I have a slide in 2 slides' time demonstrating the growth and uptake of this program. Very much, the MicroLab certification program is the world's leading certification program with respect to sustainable laboratories and sustainable science. Given off the back of our endorsements and credibility, which I'll touch upon in a moment's time, as well as the level of organizations that we are presently working with. So from our own selves with the certification program, we are working presently across the biotech pharmaceutical sector, medtech, healthcare, NGOs, as well as global academia and research institutes. So for your own selves, you are part of this wider movement. If we look at pharmaceutical and biotech sector, we are presently working with 41 of the top 50 organizations by revenue on the certification program. The organizations that you see listed in bold text are those which have a global top-down strategy with respect to incorporating the program as part of their day-to-day operations. With respect to how many organizations we are presently working with, you are part of a global movement, as I said, across over 500 organizations in actually 51 countries now. So Colombia are the most recent country to have organizations based there to come enrolled now in the program. So I don't think I included ICN2's name here. I did not. But in time to come, if you so wish, this will be something that, given the level of your work and commitment to sustainable science, we can demonstrate and advocate for others to look to ICN2 as a leading example of the work that you have done, of which Marta, as I said, will be explaining in a few moments' time. So as I was saying, you are part of a wider movement. This initiative of the certification program is something which is forevermore going to be incorporated. It is something that is here to stay, and it's something that in thanks to your uptake and facilitation of our program, we couldn't be prouder or more happy to have you as part of this movement. For Spain as a country, we do have quite a number of laboratories across different sectors and different disciplines enrolled in the program. I would have to double check our database and our accounts, but I would be pretty confident in saying that you would be in one of the top 1% performing institutes or organizations that have, for Spain, that have uptaken the program with us in terms of the work that you've incorporated, your alignment with our standard, and success in terms of certification being achieved with us as well. So that is something that you should be very, very proud of, and you've had a great success in terms of a leader in Marta. I know there's been a lot of other people perhaps involved, but Marta has been with myself. She would always email me to say, sorry for annoying you. It was always a pleasure. I was very delighted to be working with ICN2 on this initiative. With respect, as I said, to this global uptake, this slide is a little bit outdated. We presently have nearly 4,500 laboratories across 51 countries that are enrolled in this program. For Spain, as I said, there are a number of organizations that we're presently working with in Spain, but indeed across the wider EU, a number of organizations and institutes are presently enrolled in this program. As I said, this is something that in terms of networking and peer-to-peer learning opportunities, this is something that I am more than happy to facilitate in terms of introductions to other organizations if you'd like to learn from other people as well. Oops, sorry. In terms of off the back of our level of success in terms of uptake with the program, as you can see from the previous slide, in terms of recognition and credibility, so the necessity for this work is pretty paramount and it's pretty obvious, I would like to think. In terms of why perhaps we are best positioned to work with you, and indeed why perhaps you chose to work with us in this program, is given the level of the credibility and recognition we have on a global scale. So from the United Nations perspective, we have backing as we are incorporated as a key KPI or a KPI with the Race to Zero campaign with the United Nations. So essentially, this outlines the actions that the leading global economic sectors need to undertake to achieve net zero carbon emissions by the year 2050. Within that campaign, the United Nations have outlined that for the biotech and pharmaceutical sector, the main goal is 95% of their laboratories across that sector are MyGreenLab certified at our highest level of green by the year 2030. So that is recognition and credibility from the United Nations perspective. The middle component for the United States EPA, given the current president, that has carried less weight and credibility given the defunding of the United States federal system. But in terms of in the previous administration, the previous president, for the US EPA, we had to go through a very rigorous audit with the United States EPA to verify that if anyone wants to pursue more sustainable practices for the laboratory operations, we are endorsed and recognized from the United States EPA as the preferred provider of services to support any organization in that space. As well as this, we also have Cancer Research UK Cancer Research UK requiring the uptake of the certification program for their grantees in terms of grant and funding allocation to be allocated to them, as well as the Wellcome Trust. We presently have a pilot with the Irish funding system from Research Ireland for Academia, ongoing with our pilot, as well as the Irish healthcare system as well. Oops. So I know I'm just about at time, give or take of 15 minutes. So I didn't want to progress any further, but just to leave you with something that I think hopefully will resonate with all of you is that we need all of you. You are all committed to sustainability in science. You have undertaken the program with us. This very much is a continuous improvement effort and a continuous improvement program. This is not a one and done, tick the box. You are now certified, congratulations. And while congratulations are in order, we are looking forward to bringing you back in 2 years' time and continue success and work with you, because we know that I saw this morning that the month of May was the second warmest May ever on record since records began. When I was in Malaga and in Nerja and Granada and Cordoba in March of this year, it didn't stop raining. It was record rainfall, I believe, for the south of Spain. So the necessity for this work is only ever going to increase. And when it comes to yourselves, you are a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens that can change the world. And that is the belief that we have through our program. And we are very delighted and couldn't be prouder to have you enrolled with our services and for continued success with us as well. As a non-for-profit, we do rely upon some sponsorship. So these are just a list of our sponsors and donators, which do allow us to exist and do some of the work that we do. For anyone that doesn't have my email address, you are welcome to take note of it now, but I will be staying on this call for any questions at any time. So with that, I just want to say thank you very much for your attention. And Marta, I will hand it back to you for the next part of the presentation.
Well, thank you for the insights and explanation of my lab program and global impact. Now I'm going to explain a bit about the sustainability strategy in the ICN2 and how we have arrived to the migrant lab program. Sí, no, ya está. Sí, ya está. Okay, so just to give you a bit of an insight, this is the timelines that we have. So in December 2023, we started the materiality assessment of the sustainability in the ICN2. We met with different departments and see what has been doing in terms of sustainability so far. And then we also analyzed the carbon footprint of the center to see which areas we needed to tackle first. Also to understand whether the community was engaged or not. And I recall that there was an engaged group of sustainability here in the ICN2 in 2018. So yes, from there were some committed people. And then we created a sustainability strategy which covers 2 years. And also with this strategy that I'm going to show you now, we have a yearly action plan. And one of the main actions was Migrant Lab, because we believe that we should start with an education program. And even though there are not huge numerical results, I think we can, with a seed planted, then we will see the results in the future. So this is it. We started in May with a kickoff meeting, and then with question assessments, group meetings, and change implementations. And I will explain further how we organize it specifically. Okay, so this is our carbon footprint from 2023 and 2024. Just a funny fact that I found, it's like the Statue of Liberty. It weighs the same as our carbon footprint in 2023. So imagine if every year there's Liberty statue everywhere. It's a lot, actually. So we need to improve in that way. We see that our main impacts is the travels by plane and the energy consumption. So we are now focusing on these main topics. But first, we needed to get everyone involved. So Migrant Lab helped us to engage the community. Related to energy, the air conditioners, the refrigeration and heating are the main impactful thing, the main hungry machines, or yes, what it consumes most. And related to transportation, the European planes are the most impactful as well, because are the more numeric. Also, plane has a way more impact than the trains. And related to waste, we also analyzed the waste, and we saw that the absorbents, in our case, the green bin that everyone knows, you should throw inside only contaminated gloves, only contaminated paper, and we saw that there are some bad practices, because people in the lab sometimes, for easy, you throw non-contaminated items, and this will waste more energy and water for treating it. So we saw this practice to improve as well. And then this is how our sustainability plans look like. It is based in 3 axes that I'm gonna show you now. So the first one, it's commitment with sustainability, because we think it's important to have this on, this is the main important thing, because without a change in people, we won't do anything. So we can try and try, but then if no one is committed, we cannot change. And as Jack pointed out, this is like a matter of the planet and the climate change. So I think it's important for everyone. And then inside this commitment on sustainability part, we included green science and also awareness education, which means green science, the main action is my green lab, to understand what could we do to improve not only our practices, but also what can we do from the beginning of the research, even with the question that you start your research. And then the other part is sustainable procurement, includes purchasing and food consumption. Purchasing, it's not included in the carbon footprint because it's very difficult to calculate right now, but there are some papers out. But the paper said that this would be the most impactful one, together with the transportation and energy. Also, we have building and facilities, and it includes energy, traveling, waste, and water use, and each one includes different actions. Then we chose Migrant Labs accreditation, as I said before, because it's also focused on education and it's a very important part. So just to give you an insight of how did it work, so this is more or less the stakeholder engagement in the program. So I was the connection between Jack, the Migrant Lab manager, and every research group has an eco-representant, and most of them, they were senior researchers or doctoral students that has an influence in the group, because it also depends a lot on the group culture. So we needed a person who could also engage the people to answer the questionnaires or to talk about certain topics. And then, yeah, I don't want to miss saying that there were also administrative departments involved, because if we need a change of infrastructure, maintenance department is always open to it. And also communication, safety department, IT, and finances. Then what we did, I created in the intranet together with the IT department, a page where the groups could upload an Excel doc that I will show you now how it works. And then they could add their actions so it was easy for me to follow up and also to have their written commitment of their actions. And it looked like this, divided in topics, actions, and also it was very important that there was a person in charge. Person in charge written, because sometimes if you say all the group is gonna do that, no one does it. So maybe some person that not can only do it, but also start the conversation or put it in the in the topics, in the meetings, group meetings. Then in this page, I also uploaded some resources, and because my Green Lab has a lot of resources, so I summarized them and I put it there for the groups. I also have had different meetings with the eco-representants to show them specifically the resources so they can show them to their groups. I also met with wider groups. And then I'm gonna say some general outcomes, and afterwards, if you have any question, maybe I'm missing some organization part, you can ask me. So related to energy, we installed 80 LED we changed the lights so they are more efficient. We installed biosensors, 3 oil-free pump were exchanged with 3 groups. And then we stick awareness stickers in the fume hood. It's like a mix of safety and sustainability in the fume hoods. Then related to water, there was one group that we did a pilot trial that it didn't work as we thought, but it turns out that we created a recirculating water system, and it worked only for short time and for alcohols or organic solvents with low boiling temperature, like acetone and so on. As an alternative, we have these 2 other ones, the one more expensive one and the cheaper one. And then I think from now on, maybe groups will explore these options. Also, the maintenance department changed the water flow from 10 liters per minute to 5 liters. We also created a recirculating system with the UIBS for centers, and we brought all the non-contaminated ice box to them. At the beginning, we also did waste management trainings with the safety department to understand how the waste management works, and also we included some sustainability recommendations. Then we created a physical space for non-contaminated items as well. And we created this platform, which is working very well in the Microsoft Teams group. We have what is called SharePop. It's like, yes, a space where groups can share chemicals that they don't use anymore, and they have excellent. Then also groups did a big cleaning, which I think this is very basic thing, but it helped a lot because if you don't know what you have in the lab, you cannot improve. So it was very, very important. And then with the finance department, we also analyzed our main suppliers, and we checked if they had programs with more sustainable products, and they all have. So we also shared this with the group so they can explore some options. And then related to green chemistry, we will do soon a green chemistry webinar that one senior researcher is organizing to also bring to the ICN2 community this, to understand what are the 12 principles of green chemistry, and to start implementing some changes. Also, there are some groups that they already do their research sustainable by design, so it's also, we can learn a lot from them. Related to traveling, which is the most impactful one, we started with education and policy making. So first we did a webinar with Ecologistas en Acción, and they explain us the impacts of flying, also how could we do policies in the centers. And we created also an online, as the same with waste, but with carpooling. At the moment, no one is using it, but maybe more people will soon. And then we did several surveys, and every year we do a survey to understand how people commute to work and which improvements can be done, because we are in the UAV center and it's very accessible, but still a lot of people come by cars. So maybe, yeah, we hear from researchers that maybe the bike parking is not secure, so we will improve this. And as I said, we included in the sustainability, in the travel policy, sustainability recommendations. I think this is a big step, because before the travel policy was only for expenses, and now we have these recommendations, and also the group has this decision tree, which will help them to decide whether they need to really go to that conference or really do this travel or not. And I think this is very important. And yes, so related to communication campaigns, we've been doing it a lot of them, but also we've seen that they didn't have super impact. So now we have created a sustainability committee, which I'm going to explain. We have decided to do wider communication campaigns followed by actions. So I think this will have more impact. Yes. And here we also have
Can I ask, why do you say that they didn't have impact?
No, we did.
What did you mean by that? The campaigns?
Yeah, so it is, well, the channels were for email, the screens, and so on. So we also didn't have a lot of measures to measure how many people see in the emails. Also, when I was meeting with the groups, most of them say, oh, I didn't see the email. So I think, yes. So, but we've seen that some people, of course, they saw it and some things have worked. But I think it's better that if the institution does one action or together we do some action, then we can communicate it and talk about the topic, because if not, it's always the same and it seems greenwashing and it's not really working. So then we also started with the safety department and the HERO initiative. It's one researcher or admin staff, they record, we record them, and they say some sustainability or safety practices. And I think this is also another communication campaign or another way to engage people, not only with posters or emails. So I think this is working very well. And also the last thing and most impactful thing is the sustainability committee, with most of them are researchers, but we also have different people from different admin departments. And so far it's been very fruitful, and we are talking, and also we can see what are their different points of view, and it's faster to do the actions or faster to talk to the direction or yes. So to the end, these are our results. So as you can see, most of the yeah, everyone improved. Everyone did better than the first assessment. And also most of them, they have a green certification. So it goes from bronze to green, and yeah, more than a half get green. And yes, now they will also one person of each group, they will explain some action that they have or some insight or how this program has worked in their group, so you can also understand better what they have been doing. We also did a final meeting with the eco-representants to evaluate the program, and these were the results. So we achieved what we wanted, that at the end, it's the first thing, it's to raise awareness and to see a change in the groups, because now groups are having more conversations about it. They establish some protocols, or they have a green team, or they will explain you more. And I think this is it's working very well. So yes, now if you want, I'm gonna call the groups, and you can come here and say you can have 1 minute maximum, and to explain what change have you seen in the group after the certification or during the certification, or one action that has worked. So yeah, well, thank you. Vale. Well, first is supramolecular group, so you can come.
Good afternoon, everybody. I will be very brief. First, thank you for this certification, and I will comment the most significant things that we did through the certification process. First, we moved several pumps from oil to oil-free, which has reduced the oil consumption, the oil waste significantly. We also already had a project which involved the use of the E factor, which measure the amount of waste you get for each gram of product that you are obtaining. So it's a ratio between waste and the product you get from your research. And now one senior researcher from our group, what he's doing is making that tool available to everybody in the lab. So everybody that wants to know more about that and how to do their research more efficient can access to one person that knows how to do that. And finally, I think the most important thing is, yes, raising awareness, because already in the Institute and in our group, I think that we had quite a few tools to implement sustainability, but people didn't know that they were there, or they didn't know how to use them. So going through this certification and doing these meetings has made everybody to think about this and to use more efficient tools to improve our sustainability in our work every day. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So the physics. Carmen? Well,
good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for the certificate. Well, in our group, we already had, in terms of the pumps, for instance, we already have all the pumps without oil. But what we have done is we have used some time of our group meetings to talk about sustainability, something that never happened during the last 5 years. So I think that was a good improvement. Then also we have tried to reduce the energy consumption. We do have fume hoods, several pumps, lights everywhere, and I think we weren't aware of how to reduce this electrical consumption. And something that we were doing, but maybe now we are more focused. We also try to gather all the purchases together to avoid multiple transport for the same item, let's say, during 1 year. And not much not much more than that.
Thank you.
So I'm from the Oxide Nanophysics Lab, so we don't do much chemical or biological stuff. So we're safe from that. But what we do, and as Marta mentioned, one of the most impactful things that have been seen is the absorbance material, the green bin. And now we try to recycle our gloves because not most of our chemicals are non-contaminants. So we recycle a lot of our gloves, and we have shifted from plastic containers to mostly glassware. And we have seen a decrease in the frequency of how much we have to change the green bins. So this is plus, I think. And we have been trying to travel more through trains. Even our professors trying to travel through trains rather than planes. Yeah, so that's what we have done with this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the certification. In our group, we are even more aware of sustainability. We also start to change our formulation of our inks to water-based formulations. We also started to study the substitution of plastic-based binders for biocompatible ones that are more eco-friendly. And we are also more aware about the waste management because the absorbents are there. We have a lot of things in the absorbent, so now we are okay. Thank you.
First, I would like to thank Marta and the Health and Safety Department for their efforts towards the Green Lab and for making ICN2 more sustainable place. In the lab, so as the things like mentioned before, like moving to the oil-free pumps or making a better inventory system, the waste management especially. These things already exist, but thanks to Green Lab, now people are more aware. And I think you could do it. It's the awareness that I can see that in our lab, people are more aware of because we use a lot of different solvents, most of them being very toxic and carcinogenic. So we are now more aware of, okay, now which one we should put in the carcinogenic, in the green bin or in the blue bin. So I think this is very important. And another thing I would like to thank them actually is their seminars and everything that they do on the safety part, because recently we had a minor accident, but thanks to the seminars and what they taught to the members of our group, we were able to prevent this accident to become a bigger thing, like especially the liquids that the diphtherin, if I'm not wrong, that they provided in the corridors and the phones that they provided. I at the beginning I was like, who's going to use that? But trust me, it's useful.
It's useful.
And yes, thank you very much, and thank you all for listening.
I'll be brief. I just want to say that thanks to this initiative, we have created a green team within our research group. We're trying to implement greener lab practices, not only in the reactions, but for example, as you said before, we're trying to look for alternatives for water circulating systems. to replace the reflux conventional systems that we have in our research group in our labs. And also in a more personal aspect, this initiative also inspired me to join the ICN2 Sustainability Committee. That, as Marta said before, we're trying to promote greener practices, not only in the lab, but across the entire institute. Thank you.
Thank you.
So many thanks for the team behind this green certification process, especially Marta's efforts around the clock in getting this done to this point. So from a group point of view, a key change that we implemented in our group was to include alongside our weekly health and safety overview meetings, to include health, safety, and sustainability reviews per week, to be mindful and kind of a reminder for our day-to-day lab practices, and like be mindful and take accountability and what went wrong and what we could do better, and also like as others mentioned, like some of those practices. And we are also like advocating for travel when it is necessary for meetings and such, and do virtually or possible in any ways that we can. And like everyone has been aware about like a sustainable lab culture per se. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will continue doing this.
Nanomedicine could not be here, but no, you can come. Yeah. I'm gonna-
So first of all, thank you, Marta, for all your support during these months. And one of the implementations that we have already started in our laboratory is the change or the replace of the plastic-based pipette tips for ones that are bio-based, that are made from cooking or vegetable oil. And another option that we have explored is the reusable of these, or the recycling of the plastic gloves. But here in Spain, for example, there's only one available company that has this option. And for the moment, it's quite expensive. So with Marta, we decided to discard, so to wait until we have more available companies. And just to create a greener ICN2 community, I have already joined the sustainability committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Marta, for organizing and for following up with this My Green Lab. I think the biggest change for us in our case, we always struggle with waste management in our group. So we try to be more careful and try to recycle better, and also be careful also in the purchases and how we do to try to stock and pile the things together. And another thing we are doing now is that we are in the lab rotations we are integrating also that the person in charge of the week is just checking also this part about lights, turn off the lights in the labs and the AC and all these things. I think this is the two biggest changes we introduced.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. From our group, what we have been doing is to reduce the amount of waste we are generating in the lab, and also using the SERPOP to exchange the reagents we are not using, and also the equipment. One of our senior researchers is in the sustainability committee, and also we have been reducing the traveling, and also looking for more sustainable ways to travel to conferences or to do it online or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you. We have 3 more and then we will have few time for questions, but we can stay 5 minutes more.
Thank you, Marta, for the certificate and all the effort you put it into this. From our side, I believe that the most important actions, most important things were to take action into concerns that were previously in our lab that were related to water and energy consumption. But as José said, also, I think that the most impactful thing was to raise awareness, mostly onto daily actions that maybe we didn't take enough consciousness or attention into this. And I think we will have the most impact. But this is joining the Green Sustainability Committee and of course, recycling the coffee pots from our side.
Was the first of the labs of the support facility that was being involved in the My Green Lab program. And being a lab that is used by many different groups was challenging. And one action that was driven by the My Green Lab program was that all new biolab users during the initial training to use the biolab also are specially trained on sustainability best practices, and that the actions that they develop within their groups regarding waste management and energy consumption, that they also apply them in the shared labs of the institute, like the biolab. Another action that I developed as manager of the biolab was the cold storage maintenance plan for the freezers and the ultra freezers of the institute. That include the regular check of seals and filters, throwing away old samples, the annual defrosting and cleaning of the institute ultra freezer, which involved all the groups that are using the ultra freezer to being part of the whole process. And as Marta mentioned, this year or next year, we plan to increase the temperature of the ultra freezer to -70 degrees, thus saving energy. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marta. In our group, we are a lot of people and we have many different equipments. So one of the initiative we took is to review the number of users we have and the usage time of each equipment, and to update the on and off protocols of every equipment so they can only be working while using. Also, we limited the time in the lab for the lights, that it normally should be turned off by 5 or 6 if no one is in the lab, so everyone knows that they need to turn it off. And also another initiative, if we want to test something and we don't have that chemical at the moment, instead of purchasing it directly, we check on the inventory app or this pop share that I didn't know, so we will use it to see if someone has it, to land it before buying. And yeah, finally, that just say that me and Elena are currently in the sustainability committee and to raise awareness among the group, and that's it.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone. That was very nice to hear and listen everything together to see that there's been some changes, even a small. I think we will see this in the future. So yes, now we have questions and answers moment. I don't know if someone of here has any question, or maybe in the, I'm gonna check online because maybe there are more questions. Okay. Okay. No, okay.
Well, I have a question for Jack. And it has to do, hi Jack. What about the certification of dry labs? Because I know you were working on it. When will it be available?
Yeah, so good question. We're presently piloting that. So for computational spaces, engineering spaces, and non just generally chemistry with laboratory environments. So that is currently being piloted. So we have, so that if that answers your question, we're also deliberately being somewhat vague. But we have a new iteration of the program that actually, when we started working with Marta and ICN2's laboratories and teams, we had been revising the standard to develop a new iteration of the program, which has since been launched for the past couple of months. With that iteration launching, the intention is that the dry laboratories, computational spaces, engineering spaces will be housed within that new iteration of the program. So we're still piloting it. It's not yet ready, and we are looking for feedback. So with the pilot, for yourself, so Marta has my email address. So if you want to contact me directly, and if you have very specific feedback about what the work and research you do in your space that could perhaps be of benefit for us to determine and consider with our standard, that would be very welcome for us. So hopefully that answers the question while also not committing to a timeline. It's quite open on our end. We're still piloting with different collaborators this dry lab computational space. Just the last thing I'll say on that as well is with the current program, we are piloting this with Research Ireland, so the national funding body for academic research in Ireland, and dry laboratories are a part of that pilot. So upon completion, there will be an evaluation process to determine applicability. So it's something we're looking into, but it's just not yet ready all that much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm David Amapolino from your neighbours, the ICMA. I was quite interested about all of the analysis, and congratulations for everything you've done. A really good way to monitor it. Really nice. We did a lot of those things kind of in a random way, but we don't see the improvements. We don't do the monitoring. So it's nice to see that. One thing we are trying to do is to limit the amount of computer memory that we use. Because very often in our servers, there's a lot of memory, and every so often there's a backup. And obviously every time there's a backup, that's energy. So I wondered if you looked at that aspect of things.
Yeah, I'm aware that IT departments does cleanings in the data. Also, this is a very emerging field, and we have had some seminars. We have received some seminars from inside the ICN2. We have had seminars related to that and sustainability and so on. So this is, I believe that now this is a field that we will look in the next action plan of sustainability. We will focus more on big energy actions, and one of them is related to artificial intelligence, data storage, and so on. But but at the moment, I'm not aware of anything else yet.
Can I have another very quick question?
Sure.
I was just curious how you calculated the carbon footprint for flying.
For flying, yes. So I'm using the tool scopeco2.com. And so from the finance department, they send the travel agency, they send all the data, who is traveling, which type of transportation, and from where to where. And then in the calculator, you can add all the trips. It's very it takes time, but it's
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Just to that point, if I may interrupt for a second as well. So just say with the program, so in terms of what Marta alluded to with say quantification of data and estimates, no, it won't be of benefit for you at this moment, but with respect to the standard being developed, there is a new calculator that we have developed as part of the program. So when it comes to recertification attempts within the next 2 years for ICN2's teams, that would be something that would be afforded to you and available as part of the package. That was something that we just didn't have ready for when Marta and the teams went through the program with us. But we have partnered with an external collaborator called Raw Impact. You may have heard of them perhaps, but that's RHO impact. They have a database with respect to carbon emission output, with respect to certain pieces of equipment, as well as travel. And it's their services which we're supplementing our database with their database to make it a bit more specific for your operations. So that's not something that was unfortunately available for you because we were still piloting it, but it is now something part of the program. So in time to come, hopefully all going well, if you're still with us and engaged with this line of work, that would be something that'll be afforded to you as well to support your efforts.
Yeah, thank you. That's good to know. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. If there.
I have one question for Jack. May?
Yep.
It's very nice to see and impressive that the Wellcome Trust and the Cancer Research UK now is requiring the trustees, the grantees, sorry, to have a certification. Do you see similar efforts at the European level? Is there any lobbying action at the European level to?
Yeah.
Not necessarily with my Green Lab, probably you're doing that, but also that more at the European level, no?
From our perspective and from our end, we have been having conversations with Brussels about piloting our program or piloting, for example, the ACT Eco label on a pilot level for this possible mandate with respect to different institutes, different bodies, different grantees. So those conversations are still ongoing. So it is coming with respect to the Empowering Consumers Directive, so the EU Green Claims Directive, with respect to abolishing and limiting self-serving claims about the sustainability or recyclability of a product. So the ACT Eco-label, from our perspective, is the service which can really align with that EU Green Claims Directive. And that's what we're having, from our end at least, conversations with Brussels with and on. Outside of that, there are a lot of different aspects and components that, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not fully insightful on as to what's happening. But there are a lot of moving pieces in that space. So what I can do, and as I said, Marta has my email address, I can forward you, and indeed to everyone in the room, at least some context about the conversations we're having with Brussels about legislation, policies, and how we can support it, and what resources are needed to support this for other institutes then as well.
Yeah, thank you.
If that would be of interest, I can support that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. Okay. If there are no more questions, we will close the session.
Perfect. I just want to say, just before everyone jumps out I know it's 4 p.m. now, but it was really great to meet you all. And Marta does have my email address, as I said. You're going to lose a wonderful partner in Marta when she goes to Iceland at the end of August. I can only be very effusive in my praise for Marta, and indeed for all of you. It was great to listen in on your appreciation for this work and your level of involvement with it. So if there are any other questions at any stage, please let me know. You can contact me directly. I was saying to Marta, I will be in Barcelona for the Halloween weekend in October. So if it's possible to come and visit the campus and give a presentation again or meet the team, we can converse and see if something's possible. But yeah, as Marta said, if there are no more questions, please contact me directly. But it was very nice to meet you all, and I'm looking forward to continued success with you.
Thank you, Jack. Let's keep in touch.
Thank
you. Thank you. Okay.
Adios.
Sorry, I would like to take you all from your attention.